The Ukrainian Defense Forces have stopped production at one of Russia's most important defense enterprises. The Academician A.G. Shipunov Instrument-Making Design Bureau in Tula has stopped working after being attacked twice in 3 days. This was reported by the Russian opposition publication ASTRA, citing informed sources. The first attack occurred on June the 18th. Then, 5 Ukrainian drones broke through to the plant. They hit the power substation, several warehouse buildings with finished products, and the administrative building. A strong fire started on the territory of the plant, covering about 400 square meters. 2 nights later, on June the 20th, the plant was hit again. This time, a Ukrainian drone crashed into the hangar used for shipping finished products. The roof and walls of the building sustained serious damage. Emergency service sources say the plant was severely damaged in both attacks and has been forced to shut down. The A.G. Shipunov Instrument Design Bureau in Tula is a key enterprise in Russia's defense industry. It develops precision weapons for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. The plant produces air defense systems, rapid-fire guns, and small arms, as well as a range of civilian products. Recently, Ukrainian drones struck multiple military targets in Russia, including the Tambov gunpowder plant. The plant, one of Russia's main manufacturers of gunpowder and explosives for small arms, artillery, and rocket systems, caught fire following the drone strike. The Tambov facility has been targeted several times since November 2023, and US sanctions were imposed on it that same year. Tambov Oblast, located southeast of Moscow, lies hundreds of kilometers from Ukraine and shares no direct border with it. Earlier, unmanned aerial vehicles arrived in 1s and 2s in the airspace above Russia's central Ivanovo region, striking the Dmitrievsky chemical factory near Kineshma, south of Moscow. Ukrainian drones flew almost to the Ural Mountains into Russia's Tatarstan region to hit a drone factory in the regional capital of Yelabuga. It was one of the longest-range strikes carried out by the Ukrainians thus far in the war, some 1,150 kilometers from the nearest Kyiv-controlled territory. The target was a factory set up in 2023 to produce Iran-designed Shahed kamikaze drones, which are used in almost nightly attacks against Ukraine.
Young people gathered at the Limassol port in Cyprus and shared their experiences after being evacuated from Israel. Many of them were on Birthright, a free 10-day heritage trip to Israel offered to young adults of Jewish heritage and a rite of passage for many non-Israeli Jews. Others were taking part in Birthright Onward programs, which provide internships and fellowships for young people of Jewish heritage. Noah Page, an American citizen participating in one of Birthright's programs, said he never expected his experience to involve bomb shelters and evacuations. "You see on the news, you see everything, but you never really expect it, it actually hits you when you're there," he said. He added, "So when we went to the bomb shelters, at first, I was a little scared." Per, a Canadian citizen who was doing an internship in Israel that was cut short, said to the Associated Press, "I really saw what it means to be Israeli. What it means to run to shelters every few hours, to not be able to get a consistent night's sleep." Menucha Goldberg was also doing an internship, and spoke about the guilt she felt about being evacuated, saying it felt like you're abandoning your people. "I think that's probably the hardest part of everything," she added. With so many flights delayed and Israel airspaces closed, these evacuations are taking place aboard cruise ships sailing from Israel. Cyprus Chief Rabbi Ari Zeev Raskin told the Associated Press that approximately 6,500 Israelis were in Cyprus after being diverted to the East Mediterranean island, the closest European nation to Israel, or traveling there voluntarily in hopes of catching a flight or boat trip back to their country. Cyprus has become a key transit point for the repatriation of third-country nationals fleeing conflict areas in the region, as well as Israelis and others wishing to return home in the absence of direct flights there.
I mean, everything was just so unexpected. We knew when we came to Israel there was another conflict going on, but we never knew this was going to happen. So it was really unexpected. So when we went to the bomb shelters, at first everyone was a little scared. You see it on the news, you see everything, but you never really expect it to actually hit you when you're there. So at first we were really scared, but once we got moved to the Dead Sea, there was no issue. We all felt safe. We were taken care of by everyone on Onward and Birthright. We're on this one.
Kind of feel like guilty leaving your home when everything hard's happening, and it kind of feels like you're abandoning your people. I think that's probably like the hardest part of everything. I would say that it's also really terrifying because, you know, that's our home, and we're not used to having to run to shelters and, you know, not getting sleep because of all these sirens, and it's just kind of a depressing state of mind to be in.
I came to Israel on an internship, but what I experienced was far from what I expected, but it was an incredibly valuable and impactful experience. I really saw what it means to be Israeli, what it means to run to shelters every few hours, to not be able to get a consistent night's sleep, and to meet your neighbors in a shelter and connect over, you know, shared experiences that are awful, but also, you know, it was heartwarming to see the way people supported each other in those difficult times, and I'm really grateful to have experienced, you know, what real life feels like over there.
Russia has ulterior motives for offering to mediate in the conflict between Israel and Iran, since the Kremlin is interested in the continuation of the crisis. Ukrainian expert in Israel Leonid Barats stated this on the Freedom TV channel. After the Israeli operation, the People Like a Lion against Iranian nuclear facilities began on June 13, 2025, Russian dictator Putin took the initiative to mediate, holding talks with the leaders of Israel, Iran, and the United States. However, as the expert notes, Moscow's far-reaching plans are hidden behind this seemingly peaceful initiative. Russia is currently one of the main beneficiaries of everything that is happening. This is due not only to the increase in oil prices, but also, of course, to the fact that Russia is an alternative trade route for China. We know that Russia, China, Pakistan, and Iran are acting in concert, and at the moment, Russia is one of the beneficiaries of this conflict, Leonid Barats noted. Of particular concern is the possible scenario if Putin does not indeed begin to intervene in the conflict. Moreover, it seems to me that Putin will try to prolong the conflict and aggravate it one way or another, perhaps even recommending that the Iranian leadership attack Saudi Arabia or Qatar, which are so dear to the heart of President Trump. Because Israel, as we see, despite rare flights, is able to defend itself. But Saudi Arabia and Qatar, especially their oil facilities, may be quite vulnerable. The speaker commented, "Such actions by Iran, if it follows the advice of its ally from the Kremlin, will lead to very beneficial consequences for the Russian Federation. The defeat of the oil facilities of Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and also if Iran wants to cause a trade collapse, will lead to an inevitable rise in oil prices, a dramatic rise, and of course, the beneficiary of all this will be Russia and its dictator, Putin. Baratz concluded. Israel fears that the Russians may provide some assistance to the Iranian side to prolong the conflict. Russian official media support Iran and broadcasts its propaganda. After all, it is an ally of the Russian Federation, but Russia has not intervened in the conflict on Iran's side despite their alliance. They are probably afraid of losing their ties with Arab states and are busy with the war against Ukraine. Russia has not provided and does not plan to provide support to Iran during the Israeli attack, although both countries have previously actively cooperated. Iran supplied Russia with Shaheds in the first year of the full-scale war against Ukraine. It also helped build a plant to produce these UAVs. And in January, Moscow and Tehran signed an agreement on strategic partnership. However, Russia has not provided any significant assistance to Tehran so far.